Alright guys, the time has come. Alright, this video is about a concept that I've been working on. It's called the depths, which is just kind of, you'll understand soon, but basically what it is my conceptualization and visualization of the universe and how it exists. And basically what I have is this mental model. It's similar to maybe an atom, or if you know what the Fibonacci spiral is, aka the golden spiral, the golden ratio. It's basically, you find it by, you take numbers and then you like add the double and then the double and whatever. It's like a reoccurring pattern that is in nature, and the numbers result in a perfect like spiral that is always the same. Like it's this spiral, and you see it in the human eyeball, you see it in galaxies, you see it on the atom level, you see it in DNA, you see it in nature, in pine cones and the spirals, and you see it in flowers and sunflowers, and it's everywhere, and it's just this reoccurring pattern. You also see it as a black hole. Did I say a hurricane? Yeah, a hurricane. Like it's, you know what now that I'm saying these things, you're probably getting this mental image in your head of there's this center and then this spiral coming out of it, right? So basically reality exists within the spiral on every level, even down to the pure essence of energy and atoms. And not only does it exist on the smallest level, it exists, in my opinion, my idea is it exists on even the maximum level. You will see this same image that looks similar to, and really this one's more accurate. It's like there's the center and then it's all spiraling out from it, right? Now we know that like evolution, it like starts as like something small and simple, and then it expands and spreads out into more. So my idea is that, as you can see, on the outermost level of the spiral is the physical realm. All right, hear me out. And then we have the mental realm, and then the spiritual realm, and then in the very middle, the eye of the hurricane is what I call the depths. Now, this isn't just a concept, because I have consciously went through these different stages or realms of consciousness, and I've been inside of the depths 4 times so far. And I can explain how to enter the depths in maybe another video. I also wrote a whole like tutorial on my technique for entering the depths, and I can link that in the description of this video. But basically, you need to understand that this is not necessarily a like physical map. Like, I'm not saying, like, it might be, but on some level it is. But like, if you're understanding this as like a like a geographic location, you got to understand that you're still limiting yourself to the outermost, the physical. This is beyond physical. It's beyond the 3rd dimension. Now, I think as you get closer, as you go through the realms, you're actually going deeper within. It's not you're going outwards anywhere. It's you're going in on yourself. It's the dimensions. You're going into higher dimensions. It's like a Russian nesting doll, and they're all stacked within each other. Now, you know how a hurricane, how it looks like, say this is a hurricane and that's the eye of it. A hurricane's moving and it's constantly expanding. That's exactly what the universe is doing too. It's always expanding, and every single part of it is moving. Like, it's never still. It's just energy, and as it expands and grows outward, everything is impacted in front of it and behind it. Everything is impacted by each other. It's all connected. I don't know if this is making sense to you, but this is just how I see it. Now, you know, in the eye of the hurricane, it's perfectly still, and right on the edge of the eye of the hurricane, that's where the most intense movement is. This is exactly how it is when you enter the depths. Basically, I think the depths is when we leave our vessel, our human body, but we're still in our consciousness, that is the depths. And I can only describe the depths as everything and nothing at the same time. When you're there, it's just, I can't describe it. I can't describe it at all, but it's everything and nothing at the same time. But the thing is, our physical bodies, our vessels, they limit us to only the physical, mental, and spiritual realms. It's like it's like an operating system. Like it can only run it at, like, it's designated to only run at this thing, and you can't go into the fourth dimension as a human being. You can't like do that, but you can with your consciousness if you know how to just slip out. Just like you literally just kind of slip out of your body for a second and you just go into the everythingness, the nothingness. Like, and the thing is, this comes with many lessons. Like, look at this image. You see the two people? All right, up here, this is the depths, this area, and it is connected to each person. And what it's almost like is, it's like this guy right here, you say this is me because you only have experience being in this, so you think this is me, right? But this is also you just don't know about it. And this you, that's also you that you don't know about, neither does he. And it's the same one for everybody. It's like when you go into the depths, you're slipping out of your small self and being absorbed by your larger self, basically what it is. And honestly, I think this is what happens when we die. I think we just leave this vessel, we go back to the bigger self, and I can't explain to you what it's like to be in the depths. You just have to experience it. Like, you really can't, nothing I could say will even come close to capturing the experience of being in the depths. So this is like how I imagine it. Like, that's on the biggest scale, that's what it all is. And then you see how there's floating ones that are identical coming out of it. Like, something about this image just feels really accurate to me, like potent. Like, it just feels right. And that's the thing, is this image is only capturing the physical. And as I told you, the physical is only the outermost layer of the whole diagram of the evolution out of the depths, how everything came from nothing. It's man, the image will only capture the physical, so it's only giving you like the tiniest fraction of understanding of what it actually is. But if you're able to somehow think of it on a mental, spiritual, or empty way, then you'll have a more intuitive and deeper understanding that is just beyond, like, I don't know, this stuff is so tricky. It's important to know that you are living on every level or every realm simultaneously, except maybe the depths. I'm not sure if we're always, like, there's always a part of us that is in the depths, probably, to be honest, but we're just like really not aware of it. But there's, I guess it's also a chance that as long as you're in the body, you're in the body and you're not in the depths. I don't know for sure. Maybe it's both. I mean, things like this always tend to be both, but so we're living on all of these, or at least most of them, simultaneously. It's not like, oh, I'm going to ascend and like you're like going somewhere. You're already there. Like, you are already everything. Everything is already everything, and everything is also nothing, but nothing is also everything. You will tend to find that on the true level of how things are, it seems paradoxical to the human mind, but that's due to the limitations of the human mind, not the truth being false simply because you can't understand it. You know what I mean? So you have to open yourself up to things that seem impossible for them to ever be proven possible, because if you're already closed because you think it's impossible, then you will never see the truth that could potentially be hiding in plain sight. I was reading an article that this lady wrote. She claimed she was in direct communion with God or a higher power. Speaking on God or a higher power, that's a really good concept to talk about. Now, I believe, because I don't believe, I know, I know that there is a intelligent, like a supreme intelligence. It's very clear in the perfection and harmony, and in the, I've personally had this intelligence interact with me on many occasions, so I just know it on like a personal level. But I also think there's an impersonal intelligence, it's both. Again, it's always both, that there is God and then there's not God, but it's both, and they're both true. And I know it's hard to understand that, but it's just how it is, and it's how everything is. Everything's a paradox. I think everything in the universe is infinite. And what is infinity? Infinity is something that is always expanding and never ends. The definition of never ending means you're always expanding. It's infinite expansion. That is what infinity is, right? And I think infinity goes every way in the universe. Everything. If you zoom in on my hand right now, you could zoom infinitely if you had an infinite telescope, right? Or you could zoom out infinitely if you had the infinite ability to do that. And I think on the big scale, the whole universe is always growing and expanding, and then everything is within that is also growing and expanding, and then within that everything is growing and expanding in it, and then it all comes back to this emptiness, this nothingness. But in order for there to be nothing, doesn't that mean there has to be something? So doesn't that make the nothing also something? That's interesting to think about. I think there's a lot of hidden truths in nothing. I think if you want to find wisdom, you will find it in nothing. I think nothing is probably the key. Which sounds crazy, but it makes sense, because what is nothing? I feel like nothing is God. And God is nothing, and God's also everything. It's just, I know I probably don't make sense to 99.9% of people, but I think I'm onto something. And if I'm not, that's fine too, honestly. Have a good day.